So let's see how long I'm going to be talking to myself here on live chat until someone shows up. Drink a little coffee. Furnace broke in the house. It's actually warmer outside than it is inside. Only here that would happen. Nope, we got one person. Wonder if that's Major League Hats. I should send him a text. Ohio State does suck. Reds fan, Florida, thank you for acknowledging that again. Live now on YouTube. All right, so Reds fan, Florida, how was your weekend? What was more exciting, the college football matchups, NFL matchups, or Astros walk off on Saturday night? It's Illinois, of course. I think that's number one for the upset with Wisconsin. Like last second field goal as time is expiring, they nail it through, and then number two would probably be the walk off home run. But yeah, Illinois really gave Wisconsin a tough time because Wisconsin had I thought was a top 5 team, maybe top 3. I mean, granted, Ohio State was also doing pretty well. I thought that Wisconsin should have been number 4. They could have been over Oklahoma, I think, with a better defense than Oklahoma. Oklahoma has a watching on my phone. Sweet, welcome, Major League Hats. Yeah, I thought Wisconsin's defense as a whole carried their team compared to Oklahoma, who had Jalen Hurts carry Oklahoma to their victory. So, kind of, singular effort versus group effort. That's okay. But they lost. Wisconsin lost. So now it's going to be a top 15 matchup with Ohio State playing Wisconsin this upcoming weekend. I mean, I'm glad Illinois did win the game, but I'm little. I kind of wish they lost in the sense that, like in the bigger Big Ten picture, that Wisconsin would have won and they would have been like 7-0, or they would have still been undefeated, and it would have, really pushed Ohio State to, show up for the matchup this upcoming weekend of the 25th. I think that's this weekend. Yeah. No, the 26th. That's the Saturday. And they'll both be a one-loss team, and they will have a rematch in the Big Ten championship game. So, and Wisconsin would have the tiebreaker. So that was a pretty exciting weekend. And let me look up when they start doing the top 4 playoff rankings. Committee 2019, because it's usually around Halloween that they start doing the committee selections, like when it's on the Tuesday nights. Tuesday, November 5th is the first night they're doing the that kind of a thing. So I'm pretty go Gators. Where are they ranked? They're ranked. They got into the top 10 because Wisconsin lost. Um, Auburn roasted the Razorbacks 52 or 51-10. It was ugly. Um, let's see where the Gators have had a pretty good season. The but of course they lost to LSU earlier in the season, and I think LSU could be a good number 1 team to beat Alabama. So, but of course that's talking really crazy. But granted, Alabama did lose Tua Tagovailoa for the week. He's gonna be out with surgery. Better than Illinois. Yeah, Florida is number 7, and Wisconsin fell to 13. Georgia at 10, Auburn at 9, Notre Dame at 8, Florida 7, Penn State, Oklahoma at 5, Clemson at 4. They actually fell down a position, and now Ohio State is number 3, LSU, then Alabama. So it's any other teams? Minnesota. That's one team I've been noticing. Um, with Coach PJ Fleck from Western Michigan. They're up to 17 now. And unfortunately, Boise State lost and they're down to 22. And then Iowa State and Ames, Iowa, uh, jumped to number 23 in the weekly rankings. So, kind of my little spiel with college football. Get a little bit more into detail, more talk as the season gets hyped up more with the real rankings that come out. Like I said, November 5th, they'll come out and like those are the rankings that are gonna really matter. And right now, I would put Alabama, LSU, Ohio State, and Oklahoma at like my top 4 of the who would get in. If the season ended today, then I would have put Bama, LSU, Ohio State, and Oklahoma in. And kind of unfair to Clemson, but Clemson really hasn't been playing up to their expectations that were kind of set on them with Trevor Lawrence being like the big incoming Heisman runner. Not front runner because there's Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts, who's also a front runner for Heisman. But Trevor Lawrence would definitely have been a finalist, but he hasn't been performing. He hasn't really been wowing anyone this season, and that's why they're down to from number 1 at the beginning of the season down to 4. So, and they haven't lost a game, so that's really rare. Let's see, what else do I have for topics here? I think we should talk about some baseball. So let's talk about Saturday night. That was the number 2 exciting moment in sports this weekend. Of course, New York forever. It's always a pleasure to help beat the big guys in Illinois. So I was watching ALCS game 6. Was watching some of the college football games. Was watching some hockey games in the middle. Was doing some edits for some videos I was making. So it was a very busy night, and watching the last 2 innings, 2.5 innings. That's when it got really exciting. It was top of the 9th, 1 out, man on first, kind of a double play setup, and all they had to do was hit a grounder, and that's it. Game was over. But DJ LeMahieu tied it up with a 2-run homer to tied it up, and it was intense. The outfielder for the Astros did not get a glove on it, but he was close. He almost had it. It was intense. And then, of course, he had the big walk-off with Altuve, and it was just incredible. And just right away, you knew, bam, off the bat, and after they're going back to the World Series. So that starts tomorrow night, Tuesday, October 22nd. And kind of looking at Altuve's bomb, I mean, that is like a vault highlight. Like, that is going to be a standard to watch from now on. Like, you want to watch a good walk-off home run, you look at Altuve's and Batista's walk-off home runs, and those are going to be prime examples of walk-off home runs in the postseason. So they have Scherzer and Garrett Cole starting Tuesday night, and then Wednesday night, Strasburg and Verlander, and I think Friday they have set up Greinke and Patrick Corbin. So it'll be a really, really good pitching matchup. And that's where I think it's going to end. Nationals have shown in the postseason, especially, that they are baseball picks are revoked. Okay. Major League Cats, again, is not making sense. I have no idea what he's talking about. He thinks he's the king of something and he can control who has what. So whatever he's talking about, I'm just going to let him roll with it. I mean, I have been impressed with the Nationals with the 2 outs that they've had in the NLCS, where I think it was game 3 of the 8 runs they scored. 7 of those runs came in when there were 2 outs in the inning. That is clutch. That is not giving up. And I think it's going to carry on. I mean, they've been off for a week. Do I believe in the whole thing of, too much rust is bad? Not really, but they might be a little rusty coming back. So I could see that idea of, they're rusty, so they're not going to be hitting as good, but we'll see. I mean, Astros are at home. They're going to take game 1. And actually, I want to forget about fantasy football. That's what I want to forget about. I did really bad this past week. I know there's still Monday night going on, but I'm done. I don't have anyone playing tonight. We'll get to football in a moment. So Astros will win game 1, and it's going to be a top pitching performance by Garrett Cole. It's going to be a tight game. There will be some scoring, but Astros will win 4-1. No, they're gonna win. They're gonna win 4-2 on Tuesday night. That's gonna be the opening game. But yeah, we'll get into the football in a minute here, guys. But for the rest of the series, I gotta go Astros. I know New York Forever here said Astros in 6. I could see that. I'm gonna go with the gentleman's sweep. That the pitching for the Nationals was the best in the National League, but then you get to the entire league, and then you see that the Astros are a little bit higher rated there. Bullpen in the postseason, I would say Nationals have had the edge a bit. That they've been in those situations to prove themselves, unlike what they did in the beginning of the season. That might be kind of like the end of the decent comparisons. But I'm gonna go with Astros gentleman's sweep in 5. So that'll be the World Series. Wearing my Cubs hat, J38. I just we've been talking some baseball here. I started talking about college football, Illinois had the upset with Wisconsin. Now we're talking baseball and talking about World Series matchups. Um, what Cubs hat are you wearing? Mine is the World Series champions patch 2016. This is my first ever fitted 1914 logo. Actually, I got my box out. Hold on. Is this your hat? Maybe I'll put this one on so we can match. This is a one from Hat Club. I don't usually get hats from Hat Club, but this one was something I had to get, even if the logo here is a little historically inaccurate. But gray. Ooh, that's a nice one. Does it have like a side patch? Did you also get? Because I've seen some of those from Hat Club, but that'd be a cool one to get. It has a nice green under brim. We will get the hockey too. So with today we're talking baseball. Astros in the gentleman's sweep in 5. Excuse me. And then going into the Cubs today, Javi Baez was announced as the cover athlete for MLB The Show 20, and that's really exciting. I thought that some Cubs players should have been on the cover of MLB The Show back in 2017 after they won the World Series, but I forgot who they put. Oh, they put Aaron Judge on there. So it's like, who cares about Aaron Judge? It's Cubs won the World Series first time in 108 years, and you're putting a rookie. Granted, it's the Yankees, big hoopla and over exaggeration, but it's about time that the Cubs get on the cover. Bryant is the best Cub right now. Well, not really, to be honest. Bryant is my favorite player with Rizzo. Bryant and Rizzo are kind of like Taves and Kane of the Cubs, where it's like they're everyone's like top 2 favorite players, but you kind of gotta like pick which one you like the most. So I can't, like most people can't pick. But the best player, kind of hard to judge. I mean, Baez had a pretty good season. He got injured towards the end of the year, which was unfortunate. Kyle Hendricks had an okay season. Trying to think about pitching too. Wilson Contreras also had a pretty good season, but Bryant, I'm gonna say is maybe top 5 for the Cubs right now, but that's stretching it. He's been kind of digressing, unfortunately, but I'm really hoping he can get back to his MVP form or better form than what he's doing now. So Baez is on the cover of MLB 20, the show. Let me pull up the picture here if you haven't seen it, and maybe I'll just search for it. And it was really exciting to see. Major League Hats. I don't know how much I can validate your opinion about Cubs players, as you took aim at Baez, calling him a jerk just because of one incident. I don't know how much validity your opinion of the Cubs matters then. Just because you didn't get one signature, didn't get an autograph. Trying to find the cover picture tomorrow. So that's what it looks like. Pretty cool. You can look it up yourself sometime later. But I think it's a pretty cool cover design too. Not just because it got Baez on it, but it's a pretty cool cover design. And there is this like tier system. Like there's 4 tiers of different editions you can buy when the show comes out. And there's like the standard edition for like $60. Then there is MVP edition, digital deluxe, and that's like when you get like more coins and special avatars and special perks. And then at GameStop, there's an anniversary edition, and it comes. I know you can't really see it too well, but it comes with a free hat. It's a New Era 950 snapback. It's a anniversary because it's 15 years of MLB The Show being a video game. And at first I saw it, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. It's like the outline of Wrigley Field on top of the front. But then I looked at it closely, and I didn't compare it to the actual outline picture. But but I noticed, I'm like, that's not Wrigley. So it's like I went from like I have to have it to if I have $100 that I am willing to spend, maybe. Um, J38. This was mentioned on one of the 5950 collection pages I follow on Facebook. Um, you can't make 5950s of these hats because they're supposed to be a giveaway, and you don't know everyone's hat sizes specifically. Um, and you can't like have a certain X amount of each size because then when you run out of one size and someone doesn't get a hat, then so it's just easier to do adjustables for giveaways. Uh, MLB The Show 20 comes out March 17th, 2020. And before then, I will hopefully get a PlayStation 4. I have currently a PlayStation 3, and I've been playing as myself on the Braves in Road to the Show mode, kind of like be a pro. And it's 2029 or 2030 in the game, and I'm in my mid 30s, and I'm kind of regressing with my hitting. It's either I'm playing like Bryant now in the game, where either I'm grounding out, flying out, or striking out, and that's pretty much it I can do. Before in my youth, in my 20s, I could really bomb the home runs, but not anymore. I never won a Golden Glove, which is kind of sad, but whatever. So that'll be first. I got to get a PS4 so I can get a um, MLB The Show 20 game. Um, Let's see. Okay, Major League Cast. I know he was talking about Baez is a jerk. I watch more games than you probably. I watch every team. Um, Bravo for watching more games than me. Yeah. I guess that's Will you get? I've been trying to get a Chicago Federal hat for a little bit. Um, it's not been high on my radar personally, but it is a hat that I should get eventually. And the Chicago Whalers too, or Chicago Whales. That was another team that was in the area. I think that was a previous reiteration of the Cubs. No, they really don't make any games anymore for PlayStation 3 because even right now the PS4 is on its last year. And then next holiday season 2020 in November, they'll come out with a PS5 and the next Xbox console. So they stopped making MLB games for PlayStation in 2016. So I have the last edition of it, which kind of sucks. And what's really weird is in the game in a PS3 version, you look into the outfield of Wrigley, there's no jumbotrons, which is nice. But then in PS4, they add the jumbotrons. It's like you can't put enough computing power to show jumbotrons in PlayStation 3 games. That's kind of weird. But I like it. It's more open Wrigley Field, and that's how it should be. That's what a good ballpark looks like. Open outfield, no like big metal jungle gym concrete things like they have out in like City Field that I've seen. Playing MLB The Show because I'm on the Braves. I play at Mets a lot, and I'm not a huge fan of City Field. It looks like a big metal jungle gym, and it's just like closed off, and it's like, what's the point? I don't like it. The last White Sox game I was at was Father's Day, June of 2015. That's when the Blackhawks brought the Stanley Cup trophy to White Sox game that day, and my brother, sister, and I went to the game with my dad, and we kind of saw it from a distance. It was in the patio, and we had really bad seats. They're cheap, but it was okay. And then they were playing the Rangers. Um, yeah, we all wore different things that day. I wore my Cub stuff. My sister probably wore plain clothes or White Sox, and my brother wore Brewers gear. So very messed up family we are, but that's what makes a good story for us. Um, gonna continue on with the show stuff, maybe? No, no. Oh, someone had mentioned before, who was it? About no manager yet for the Cubs. J38 mentioned that. Um, I'm not sure who could be the next manager. It's my David Ross commemorative fan souvenir glass or cup. They brought Espada, one of the bench coaches for the Astros, back for a second interview recently. Yes, mom's a White Sox fan, and I mean, was David Ross as a manager? That'd be like more like just to have fun, I would think. Um, because there have been people in the past that have said like, oh, he doesn't have managerial experience, so he's not going to do good. It's like, well, there have been some examples where uh, first-time managers or managers who never had experience have done pretty well, like Craig Counsell. But I think that there'd be a lack of focus almost with Ross in the dugout. But just my opinion. You're talking about Bartlett the catcher. Um, Joe Girardi has still been in the mix, but I think he's kind of going to the wayside of his, being considered for the manager, which I could see him a little bit more being the manager than the other guys. But Espada seems like a really good name to go with. It seems like the one of our own bench coaches, Loretta, is out of talks now. His name hasn't really appeared as much as it used to, so that's kind of unfortunate. Um, let's see. Let's go on to a different topic here. Um, Major League Hats had mentioned football first, so we'll talk about the Bears next, and they were pitiful. Highlight was Cordell Patterson going for a 102-yard kickoff return for a touchdown in the second quarter, and I think that was about it. And yeah, the thing, Bears don't suck. It's just that they're inconsistent. That's the problem. I mean, catchers do have a pretty good sense and feel of the game, so they do have some pretty good background knowledge to the mechanics of how a game works. I could see that. I think Girardi was actually catcher too. Let me just look up that quickly. Joe Girardi. Girardi. Yeah, he was a catcher, huh? Makes sense. Um, so Bears had a really bad game. Brian Sandberg for Cubs managers. Um, I could see that. I would like that. Um, but he had his stint with the Phillies, and not saying that could have gone better. Yes. Does he deserve another chance? I would think so. Um, but he hasn't coached in a while, so maybe he's a little rusty on the coaching thing. Maybe someone a little bit more fresh. I know Girardi has been out of a job for about a year or two now, but Girardi also has uh, more career behind him than Sandberg did. So, Rhino, I would like that. That'd be a fan favorite vote. Trubisky, I want to say that I'm really, really tired of hearing, and I see this on this trash talk page for the NFC North team that I follow on Facebook, and they always say like, oh, you guys passed up on Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. Personally, I wanted Deshaun Watson for the Bears because they were originally going to have the third pick, but then they traded up for no damn reason to pick at the number 2 spot, and sorry, still got my cold going. They traded up with 49ers for the number 2 spot for no reason, and it took Trubisky, and it's like, what? I mean, got to go with Ryan Pace, at the time, but I would have wanted Deshaun Watson. But you also can't say like, oh, you guys passed up on Patrick Mahomes. Like, yeah, he was kind of considered a good player from college, but no one knew how explosive Mahomes was going to be. So you can't say, oh, well, you guys passed up on Mahomes. He threw 50 touchdowns one season. Like, did you know that when he was drafted? No. Well, you can't judge us on that kind of information or not knowing what his career would be. Trubisky is inconsistent. That's the problem. That's why we're in the pickle that we're in. The defense can't do everything, and we have to rely on the quarterback too much. And if it's become a quarterback league, it can't be like the 2000 Ravens where they where they win a Super Bowl with Dilford, and this isn't the '86 Bears where McMahon was a good quarterback. He got the job done. He was also a good leader. I think that was most important. His attitude on the field and in the locker room really solidified him as a above average quarterback. But if he didn't have those kind of skills with the guys in the locker room, he wouldn't really be considered a good quarterback then. But this is a league where you need a pretty decent, pretty above average quarterback to at least have a chance for the Super Bowl run. So, we're 3-3, still a little early in the season. We got 2 weeks until the halfway point, so not panicking, just a little frustrated, of course. But it was a really rough game though, and it was with a backup quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater, good player. It's just we lost to him. Even with our defense, like it was a really bad game. Bucks did it with Brad Johnson. So yeah, there's a few examples of those times, and just to point out again, it hasn't been brought up recently, but again, defenses win championships. Defenses win Super Bowls. I know if Major League is still watching, he will argue that with me, but I have proved against him his claim that offenses, teams that are considered offensive teams win Super Bowls, whereas I have hard data. I could pull it up if you want to prove that defenses win Super Bowls. Top defenses more often win Super Bowls than top offenses. Actually, they're tied. The number of times that a top ranked offense has gone to the Super Bowl is more than top defenses, but the amount of wins are the same. I think at 8. So moving on. So and then the Broncos played Thursday night. I don't usually watch Thursday night games, and except for the home season opener for the Bears this year when they played against. Unable to chat? No way. anyways, but Broncos, unfortunately, were in the mix when Mahomes went down, knee injury actually, and yeah, he was carried off the field. It looked really bad. Some people said that it was going to be season-ending injury, which would have been really bad. And what I really liked with the Broncos was like the players near Mahomes, like pat him on the back, kind of give him a tap, like saying like, "Hey man, good luck," sorry that it happened, wishing you the best. So they were really classy about it. So really glad that the Broncos were professional about that. Um, I'm wondering if people can still chat. Right. Okay, so that was a bit of an issue. It's always an issue with the internet here at home. So if anyone, can someone type something out just to make sure that the chat is working, or let me know on Instagram. Message me there if something's not working. Um, we'll try to make it work. And test one thing out just to be sure. Gotta try to combat all this stuff. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay, so I can't actually see it on the screen here, but I can see it in a chat here on my phone. Okay. So I'll keep going on as is. So I'll just keep monitoring the comments over here and seeing myself and a delayed reaction on my phone while streaming. So I really have 3 people now, so it'll be a hassle here. Anyways, um, so speaking of football, tonight is Monday Night Football, and tonight is the last time for this new tradition that's been coming about. I don't know if it's a. I think it's only happened like one other time, maybe. Um, that's you. Um, there is Monday Night Football tonight, and it happened in 2017. I remember it was the Bears playing the Raiders, I believe, or the Bears were playing Dallas, maybe, but the Bears were hosting, and it was the night that Rise of Skywalkers comes out tonight during halftime for Monday Night Football. So um, this is going to be really exciting. I'm going to be at work, and it's going to be it's going to suck because only be watching on my phone. My iPad is still broke, so I'll have to get a new one eventually, and it'll be really fun to watch. So I'm going to be wearing my Star Wars hat tonight at work, and yeah, this will be a lot of fun to watch it. I think there was a leaked image that came out today, and it was a bunch of ships that came out and in the leaked image. So it'll be pretty cool to watch tonight. What else? So is anyone still chatting on here? Because there's been no activity. Just making sure. Making sure. So I know Major League Hats mentioned it earlier. Well, whatever. Um, hockey. I'm now 3-0 with with the fantasy league, and that's really good for me because I'm actually winning at something, which doesn't happen too often. So, you just gotta take what you can get. Uh, Blind squirrel gets an acorn every once in a while, so this blind acorn has to appreciate whatever he can get. So last week I beat Team Massini, Phil, pretty heftily. I had the top scoring team last week, and this week I am playing Ryan Sullivan 1. And tonight I have McKinnon, my Vegas players, and I think that's it. Oh, maybe no, that's it. It's really unfortunate. Major League Cats, if you're watching this still, there's no IR for the league, so I can't put Tavares, who's out for about 2 weeks. I can't put him on uh, an injured reserved list because there is no list, so or option for that. So if you can find a way to fix that, that'd be great. I can, especially with someone out for like 2 weeks, that's a lot of time lost, and I could have another player step in instead while he's out for that extended period of time. Um, Last I saw, Vegas is in the top 5 for power rankings, um, according to Pro Hockey Talks. What else? Blackhawks lost last night to the Capitals, so that sucked. Still not panicking yet with the Blackhawks. We'll get there. We'll panic later on. Trying to look at the standings here for hockey, and everyone has lost the game already, so there's no one left undefeated. Golden Knights play against the Flyers tonight. Um, Rangers and Devils have been kind of disappointing for me so far this season. Um, and so far, Buffalo 1, and then Edmonton 7-1-1. So yeah. So I'm gonna save the topic for another day. Talk about a new logo that came out for a sports event because the chat here seemed to crap out on me. So thanks YouTube and thanks Huawei Internet. So thanks for watching and try this again another day. So bye.